My name is Detective Jonathan Pierce. I've stayed in enough hotels to know that none of them ever really feel empty. Even the quiet ones hum with leftover lives, conversations pressed into carpets, dreams soaked into mattresses, regret clinging to the walls. Most of the time, that's just imagination. Room 614 was different. The case came to me through an internal report. No victim, no suspect, no crime that fit into a form. Just a pattern. Guests checking into the same room and filing complaints that contradicted reality. Names that didn't match reservations. Statements that collapsed under questioning. And one recurring detail: every guest insisted that someone else had been in the room with them. I checked into the hotel under my own name just before midnight. The lobby was clean, quiet, almost aggressively normal. The clerk handed me a key card without hesitation. No warnings. No strange looks. Room 614, he said. The elevator ride was uneventful. No flickering lights. No stalling. I almost felt disappointed. The hallway on the 6th floor was long and carpeted in a dull, patterned red. The kind designed to hide stains. Room 614 sat near the end, its door closed, unremarkable. No scratches. No signs of forced entry. I unlocked the door and stepped inside. The room was small but clean. One bed. One desk. A chair by the window. Bathroom to the right. Everything in its place. Nothing out of order. I checked the closet. Empty. The bathroom. Clean towels. No personal items. The desk drawer. Empty. I sat on the edge of the bed and listened. Nothing. I waited. I checked my watch. 12:17 a.m. That's when I heard the door unlock behind me. I stood up slowly, hand near my holster, and turned. The door opened. A woman stepped inside. She froze when she saw me. We stared at each other, confusion mirrored perfectly on our faces. "Who are you?" she asked. I said my name. She gave hers. She held up a keycard. "Room 614, she said. I checked mine. Room 614. She looked around the room like she was seeing it for the first time. "I just checked in," she said. "The clerk said this room was empty. So did mine." We compared details. Same clerk description. Same elevator ride. Same timestamp on the keycards. She asked the question neither of us wanted to voice. "Are you staying here?" "Yes." Her face tightened. "Then where have I been sleeping?" Before I could answer, the lights flickered once. Just once. When they stabilized, the woman was gone. Not leaving. Not fading. Gone. Her bag, which had been over her shoulder, lay on the floor where she'd been standing. I rushed to the hallway. Empty. No footsteps. No elevator chime. No doors opening or closing. I returned to the room, heart pounding. The bed was different now. 2 pillows instead of 1. On the nightstand was a phone charger that wasn't mine. And on the desk lay a folded receipt. A hotel receipt. Dated 2 nights ago. Under her name. Room 614. I sat down slowly, a cold realization settling into my chest. The room hadn't made a mistake. It hadn't duplicated a reservation. It had changed guests. And it had done so without either of us leaving. I didn't sleep. I lay on top of the covers, fully dressed, lights on, gun within reach. Every sound in the room felt amplified. The hum of the air conditioner, the soft click of the clock, the distant elevator bell. I kept replaying the moment the woman vanished, the way the room seemed to adjust afterward, like it was correcting itself. At 1:04 a.m., The bathroom door creaked open. I sat up instantly, heart racing. No one stepped out. The door simply remained open, as if someone had forgotten to close it. I checked the bathroom. Empty. No steam. No signs of use. When I returned, the chair by the desk had shifted slightly, turned toward the bed. I was not alone. "Hello?" I said, my voice steady despite the pounding in my chest. Silence. I looked at the mirror above the desk and froze. There was a man standing behind me. He looked as startled as I felt. We turned at the same time. The room was empty. I exhaled sharply and looked back at the mirror. He was still there. "So this is how it works," he said, his voice muffled, like it was coming through water. "You see me. That's new. Who are you?" I asked. "Mark," he said. "I think. I checked in yesterday. Or the day before. Hard to keep track." He glanced around, eyes darting. "You're in my room." "No," I said. "I'm in mine." He laughed softly. "That's what I said too." I turned fully toward the mirror. "You're not physically here." "No," he agreed. "I'm adjacent." I watched his reflection carefully. His movements were delayed by a fraction of a second. Just enough to feel wrong. "Have you left the room?" I asked. His face darkened. I tried. "What happened?" "The door opened," he said. "The hallway was there. But when I stepped out, the room stayed with me. Folded around me. Then everything else disappeared." My stomach tightened. "You're trapped in the room." "In a version of it," he corrected. "It rotates guests. One stays. One moves sideways." I noticed something then. The reflection of the bed behind him had two people sleeping in it. Neither of them was me. "How many guests?" I asked. "Two at a time," he said. "Always overlapping. One real. One transitional." "Which one are you?" He hesitated. "I don't know anymore." The clock clicked over to 2:17 a.m. The lights flickered. Mark's reflection distorted, stretching unnaturally. "No," he said, panic creeping into his voice. "It's happening again." "What's happening?" "The swap." The air grew heavy. My ears popped like pressure was changing. I felt dizzy, disoriented, like the floor was tilting beneath me. "Listen to me," Mark said urgently. "If you wake up somewhere else, if the room feels unfamiliar, do not try to leave immediately. That's how you lose track of who you are." "What happens if I do?" I asked. He opened his mouth to answer. And the mirror went dark. I stumbled back as the room snapped into place. The chair faced the desk again. The bathroom door was closed. Everything was normal. Too normal. I looked at the bed. Someone was sleeping in it. A man. Not me. He stirred and opened his eyes. "Who are you?" he asked. I checked my watch with trembling hands. 2:18 a.m. I suddenly wasn't sure if I was the guest anymore. The man in the bed sat up slowly, rubbing his eyes like he'd just woken from a long dream. "Did you forget something?" he asked, looking at me with mild irritation. "I thought this room was supposed to be empty." I stared at him. His suitcase sat by the door. A jacket hung in the closet. On the desk lay a phone, screen glowing softly with a lock-screen photo of him smiling beside someone I didn't recognize. "I'm Jonathan Pierce," I said carefully. "Detective. I checked into this room last night." He frowned. "No, you didn't." "I did." He reached for the phone and unlocked it. The date blinked at me. 2 days earlier. My stomach twisted. You've been here longer than me, I said. He nodded. Obviously. I went to the door and tried the handle. It opened. The hallway outside looked perfectly normal. Carpet. Lights. Elevator at the far end. I turned back toward the man. What's your name? Daniel. I watched him closely. Have you noticed anything strange about this room? He hesitated. Just a fraction too long. Sometimes, he said, I wake up tired. Like I didn't sleep alone. The mirror above the desk flickered. Mark's reflection appeared briefly behind Daniel. He shook his head subtly. Don't. I understood then. The room didn't trap people physically. It rotated perspective. One person existed fully. The other existed partially, eroding over time until they no longer qualified as a guest. The one who tried to leave first lost. I stepped away from the door. Daniel looked relieved without knowing why. What happens to the others? I asked the empty air. The room answered by changing. The walls softened. The hum deepened. The mirror showed me not Mark, not Daniel, but myself, translucent, flickering at the edges. I was becoming transitional. Unless. I sat on the chair by the desk. Daniel blinked. What are you doing? Checking out, I said. I pulled out my notebook and began to write. Dates. Names. Descriptions. Every detail of the room, the swaps, the mirror. I anchored myself to memory. To identity. The room resisted. The air thickened. My head throbbed. I kept writing. I remember who I am, I said aloud. I remember entering. I remember choosing to stay. The mirror cracked. Mark's reflection screamed silently as it fractured and vanished. The pressure lifted. The room stabilized. Daniel exhaled sharply, like someone waking from a nightmare. I think I just checked in, he said. I stood. The door was still open. The hallway still there. I walked out. The door closed behind me. When I looked back, the number on it read 613. Room 614 was gone. I went straight to the front desk. There is no room 614, the clerk said without hesitation. I left the hotel before sunrise. Weeks later, I reviewed the guest logs. No record of Mark. No record of the woman. No record of me. Only Daniel. Still checked in. Still occupying the room that no longer existed. I don't stay in hotels anymore. Because some rooms don't just change guests. They decide who gets to remain real.